everyone, it's Needlecraft Annie and I'm here for flosstube number 55. It's not been a whole week because my last video was on Wednesday and today is Monday. Nevertheless, I have a lot of projects I want to show you. I did not stick to my plans. Last week or on Wednesday I was super confident. I can already tell you what I'm going to stitch on because I made my plans. I'm sure I'm going to stick with them, and I didn't. Nevertheless, a few I actually stick to, but I have a lot of projects that were not planned that I'm going to stitch on them, and I have them here with me to stitch on it. So yeah, let's get started and let's show you what I stitched on during the last week. As always, let's start with treble stitching. Treble stitching for me is the Grimm's Fairy Tale Saw by the Clouds Factory. It's not working the way I want it to work. There we go. So I show you what's the whole project going to look like when it's done. And I'm presently stitching on part number 10 that has been released on the 1st of October. And part 10 is this here, over there, and those motifs up in there. So that's what I'm stitching on presently, and I show you a picture of what it looked like last time here. So this is where I'm at. First of all, I'm going to show you the whole thing. That's where I'm at. My needle is still hanging on here because I did not finish my thread, and the thread is too short to get it up to my needle minder, but I don't want to put my needle minder on already stitched parts. So therefore, the needle just hangs there, and the needle minder is there for decoration. The needle minder is from Just So Heavenly, and I'm stitching this project on a 16 count Ada by Picture This Plus in the colorway Jade. So let's see what I did since you saw it last. I stitched those letters, those motifs up in here. One of those brighter motifs is still missing in here, and a second one over here, I think. Yes, a second one over here. But this thread I will need somewhere down here, so I'm only going to stitch that as soon as I can reach those parts down here. So when I have some thread left over, which I probably will have, I don't have to wind it back onto my bobbin and then start it once again. So I just wait until I can reach those parts. And then I started with the actual fairy tale and not with those kind of background and filling motifs, and started in the sky. So not a whole lot done there yet, but nevertheless, I'm really happy for a week of treble stitching with what I did. And I hope to finish it during next week. So, but that's kind of the plans, and I'm coming back to it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Really happy, getting closer to having it actually done. So after this part, there are only two parts missing, one over here and one on the bottom. So that's nice. Yeah, that's the Grimm's Fairy Tale Cell by Clouds Factory. And that's been my treble stitching. So, last time I filmed, so on Wednesday, I told you that I only needed a few stitches to reach another one of my goal, or no, to reach 8,000 stitches on one of my projects, which means one of the national parks in the Full Coverage Fanatics Facebook group is done. So the Full Coverage Fanatics Facebook group has a year-long event over 2020 with where they have 5 tiers, each tier with 5 national parks. Every park you need 4,000 full crosses or 8,000 10 stitches. So a lot of my projects have I stitch with 10 stitch, so therefore I often need 8,000 stitches. The same with this project. I stitched this project with 10 stitch. I wanted to do 2 parks this year. And on Wednesday I told you, after the video was done and uploaded, I wanted to finish the first park of those. And that's what I did. And the project is Colorado Mountain by Golden Kite. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And I show a picture of what it looked like last time here. So this is where I'm at. I think since you saw it last, I finished the column I was presently stitching on and then started the next one, and that's probably it. As I said, I needed, I think, a bit more than 100 stitches to finish my park, and I have a daily stitch count goal of 630 because that would mean at the end of the year I would have finished all the perks I wanted to do, all of them. So I stitched until I had reached that goal, and then I packed it away. I wanted to stitch on it some more. I had some time left. It's been on only like 5 or 6 p.m., so probably around 5 hours worth of stitching time. But I was done with that project. I had it both at my parents', so yeah, I was just done. This is stitched on 25 count 2/110 stitch. The needleminder is from Denkai Designs. As I said, I have fun stitching this project. It's one of my smaller ones, so I can actually think about like finishing next year or 2022, something like that, which would be really nice. But I stitched on it for, I think, close to a week daily. That's not my thing. I'm not I'm not a stitcher who stitches on only one project. It gets boring, especially because in those mountains with all those oranges, it's really confetti heavy and all those colors look the same. It turns out beautifully, but it's annoying. It's always the same colors, and yeah, it's just not really my thing. So I needed a break, and the next time I'm going to stitch on it, I will have a lot of fun stitching on it. But I needed a break, so I took one. Okay, that's Colorado Mountains. As I said, I stitched on it Wednesday until I did not want to anymore. I had my 630 stitches, so I was fine with that. After that, I thought about starting my project for Thursday a bit earlier, but I did not want to stitch on full coverage. I have a lot of non-full coverage pieces, so I did not feel like stitching on full coverage, so I didn't. And then I thought about what to stitch next, and I decided to go with Sleepy Hollow by Glendon Place. That's what it's going to look like when it's done, and my year-end goal was to finish that border up in the top and start the picture. And all that was missing were the beads up in that border. So I show you a picture of what it looked like last time here. And I think in 1.5 or 2 hours, I finished those beads. On the first pumpkin, they were already in, but I finished them around all those motifs up in here. Okay, I lost my needle minder completely. Going to fix that later. But yeah, that's my year-end goal reached, and I'm super happy with how they look. They look amazing. And I can't wait for next year to actually get some more done in the picture itself. So, this is stitched on the called for fabric. It's a 28 count casual linen by Picture This Plus in the colorway Haunted. I'm stitching this one with anchor colors because it's charted in anchor. Yeah, still a lot to do, but I'm happy with what I did. The needle minder that fell off is from Denkai Designs. So yeah, really happy. And another goal finished, especially with my non-full coverage pieces. I'm super excited when I finish some goals, because I set myself really high goals, always with all my projects, non-full coverage and full coverage. And because this year is kind of the year of full coverage for me, I concentrate a lot on my full coverage pieces, and non-full coverage just does not get as much attention as my full coverage ones. Therefore, I think I probably won't finish a lot of those non-full coverage goals, like maybe only about 3 or 4, and I have, I think, 12 non-full coverage pieces, so not a lot. But yeah, it's fun sometimes stitching on those non-full coverage pieces as well. So I'm kind of fine with that. It's the year of full coverage, and next year, I already know that, is not going to be the year of full coverage. It's going to be something else. But I'm going to do a video about that in December where I explain all my plans for next year, and yeah, then we will see. Okay, as I said, about 1.5 hours, 2 hours on Sleepy Hollow, and I still had time left to stitch some more. And I still did not want to stitch on full coverage. So I took out Twisted Band Sampler by Northern Expressions Needlework. I had some accident with some border over here, so I can read everything in there, so I don't need to print it another time. And luckily, it only happened to the pattern. The fabric actually was laying right next to it, but luckily on this side, because there's a lot of color that ran out of the print. So if my fabric were directly on that, I probably would have had some color on the fabric. So I'm super happy that it was somewhere else. Yeah, this is the Twisted Band Sampler. One of the projects, I'm sure I won't finish my goal, because my goal was to finish band number 8, which is this band in here. And yeah, I have now this band finished, band number 4. So I'll show you a picture of what it looked like last time here. And this is where I'm at right now. As I said, band number 4 is finished. I had still some thread left after I finished the band down here, so I started with the band number 5, which is another cross stitch band. And it's going to be this band with those flowers. So that's what I started on, with a really short length of thread. But yeah, here it is. Really happy. Those are the first specialty stitches I do. I never before done some specialty stitches except on those Joyful World Cell ones. There were like some lazy daisies and stuff, and French knots. I have done a few, but like really specialty stitches, so like those. So those are the first I did, and I'm really happy with how it's turning out. Yeah, that's that one. It's stitched on a 32 count white opalescent linen 1/2 with dinky dyes. They're called for dinky dyes, and the needleminder is from Denkai Designs. So yeah, I don't know if you can see the sparkle. I think you can. It's super sparkly, and especially with a lot of this white fabric shining through, I liked to have some sparkle, some extra. So yeah, here we go. As I said, quite sure I won't finish my goal this year, but you can always try. Yeah, that's the Twisted Band Sampler. And then that was my Wednesday. So 3 projects on one day, and on, well, all of them I did good progress, so I'm happy with that. On Thursday, it was my non-full coverage stitching day, and on non-full coverage, sorry, that was the door. I had to get that. Okay, so on Thursday, it's my non-full coverage stitching day, so I stitched on Temperature Garden by Stitchin' Mommy to stay up to date, and because I did not stitch on it last week, because I was at my parents', I had a lot to do, so I stitched on that. So, okay, this is what it's going to look like when it's done, approximately, with some other colors. So I'm going to show you a picture of what it looked like last year. And this is where I'm at. So, I finished September, started those 2 flowers in October, and stitched the October down here. So yeah, as you can see, it's getting colder again. It's autumn. We're getting closer to winter. I don't like that, but it's the way it is. So yeah, that's my Temperature Garden. This one is stitched on 28 count 1/1 full crosses. Needleminder is from Lakeside Needlecraft. And as soon as I'm finished with that row, there's only one row left. We're getting so close to the end of the year, and this year went by so fast with everything that happened. It's kind of crazy to see that, because normally I don't realize it that much. And then I look at this project and I do realize it. So yeah, that's Temperature Garden. I'm thinking about putting like 2020 above or below everything. Still thinking about that. We'll see. Maybe putting a legend as well. So which color resembles which temperature. Not sure about that yet. But probably I'll do something like that. So yeah, bring it closer once again. Yeah, that's my September finished and October started. Yeah, that's that one. As I said, Thursday, I had a lot to do. I was not feeling super stitchy. I did not want to stitch on full coverage. And I took a long time stitching on this one. I did not have anything to do on Thursday. And still, I think it was 6 or 7 p.m. until I finished this one, which normally takes around 2 hours. So probably with the 2 weeks I have had to stitch, I would have needed 3 or 4. And it took the whole day. I mean, it's fine. Sometimes that's something you need. And I don't want to force myself to stitch, because then the fun in stitching would be gone. So that's fine. And after I finally finished this one, I finally started to get my stitching block back. It was kind of late, so no need to start some full coverage stitching. So I decided to go with another not full coverage one I actually want to finish. And the one I'm talking about is Royal Games No. 1 by Mirabilia. So that's what it's going to look like when it's done. As I said, hopefully at the end of the year. We'll see about that. And I'll show you a picture of what it looked like last time here. So I did quite a bit. This is where I'm at right now, and half of it you can't see because the fabric rolls itself up. I stitched a lot in her glove over here. I had some black thread left on my needle, so I started in those roses. Those stitches in here are the roses she's having above her hand, those two. And those stitches are actually her hair piece. So that's super, super exciting. As you can see, I did stitch some blue in her glove as well. That needed to be finished over here and a bit up in here. So yeah, really happy. I'm getting kind of closer to being done with her, or getting closer to being done. So my next step will be to actually finish her glove and the roses she's holding, because then I can leave more thread colors at home and then fill in the front of her dress. There are a whole lot of beads in there, so not a whole lot of stitching. And then I will move into her skin. I'm stitching the skin 2/2 as well as the rest of the piece. This is also on a 32 count white opalescent linen. As I said, 2/2. The needleminders are both from Denka Designs, and this one is a tacky bob needleminder, so you can put your beads on and they stick. But I think I have to wash it again. But yeah, here we go. There we have it. I'm really happy. I can't wait to have her done. She will be amazing. And I want her done at the end of the year, so next year I can start Royal Games No. 2. So Queen of Spades and Queen of, what's the other one? I only know it in German. Aces? I think so. No. Oh, I don't know. This is Queen of Hearts and Queen of Spades, and the other one is Queen of Aces and the other queen, the fourth one. So yeah, that's Royal Games No. 1. I did stitch a few hours on that one, and then packed it away once again. But I think this will come out this week as well. I tell you in plans all about it. Okay, let's move to full coverage, because on Friday I actually felt like stitching on for coverage once again, so I did with the one I planned to. I planned to stitch on 4 Seasons. Artwork is by Jesse Gerke and charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, because that's another one of those where I want to stitch 2 parks with, and I had not yet done the first one, so I wanted to do that. This one I stitched over the whole width of the pattern, 20 stitches high, over the whole width, and then start with the next 20 stitches high row. So I show you a picture of what it looked like last time here. And this is where I'm at. It's starting to get complicated to take pictures. So to finish my park, I needed, I think, close to, or a bit more than 800 stitches. Is that correct? A bit more than 700? I don't know anymore. I needed a few stitches, a few hundred. I finished the park on the first day, continued stitching, and on the second day, I wanted to stitch on this one some more because I had really fun stitching on it. So I did. I stitched on it for another day, even though I had another project planned. I just had a lot of fun stitching on this one, so why not continue stitching on it? I think I did 4 20 by 20 blocks, so close to 800 stitches wide. That's pretty cool. Not 800, 80. But yeah, that's really cool. And now I'm actually, there's a thread hanging from it. So now I'm actually, I had it last time. Yeah. At this pumpkin over here. So I crossed the middle by quite a bit. So I'm getting closer. I did the math. I will not reach the other side of the pattern till the end of the year with the stitches I want to do on this one. But I'm getting close. So, okay, I'm going to finish the first row next year. Yeah, that's 4 Seasons. Really happy. I think I stitched from somewhere around here this whole thing. Yeah, it's looking good. It's really looking good. This is stitched on 25 count, 1/1 4 crosses, and the needleminder is from Denkai Designs. Here we go, and I can't wait to get back to this one soonish. It's a super big fabric, so it's not super easy to sort everything. So you might have to wait a little bit until I finish that. Big fabric, big project. And don't ask me why one of the biggest projects I have, I don't stitch with tan stitch, but full cross, which takes longer. I don't know. It's just what I wanted to do when I started it, so I did. And I'm fine with it because I have no rush in finishing it. It probably will never hang somewhere in my home. But it's nice to finish projects, so I'm going to continue on it, and I like it. So that's 4 Seasons. As I said, I stitched 2 days on it, and on Sunday I switched to Dragon Dancer. Artwork is by Anne Stokes, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This one is, this one is kind of close to finishing my second park, and with that my year-end goal. So yeah, hopefully being able to do that soon. So I'm stitching in this upper corner with those trees. And I show you a picture of what it looked like last time here. And this is where I'm at right now. So I did a lot in the upper part of page number 3 because that's where I pick colors and then complete the colors over the whole page. If I have some thread left on my needle, I move in this page or in this page because those will be the next pages I stitch on. So therefore I have some more progress in here as well. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. This one is stitched on a 32 count 2/110 stitch. Needleminder is just a magnet. And yesterday I did a bit more than 800 stitches. If I can continue that or do that today again, I will have my park finished and my year-end goal. So I'm stitching on this one once again today, and hopefully being able to actually finish my part. And with that, we're right into plans. As I said, today I'm going to continue stitching on Dragon Dancer, hoping to complete my year-end goal with 800 something stitches on this page. So we'll see about that. I should be able to do that, but you never know. So yeah, that's Dragon Dancer. As I said, today, once again, stitching on this one. For travel stitching, I'm going to continue to stitch on the Grimm's Fairy Tale cell until that one is done. As soon as that one's done, I'm going to move on to the other stitch along, which is called Hello Dear. It's by Caterpillar Cross Stitch from the UK. And so far, or today, part 2 has been released, and so far I have not yet started the project. Part 3 will be released on the 26th of October. So I have 2 weeks to finish 2 parts that are kind of big. So with part 2 completed, that's what it's going to look like. And as you can see, it's going to be a tree and 5 parts. So we're getting closer to being done with that one. And it's super fast with only two weeks of stitching time for each part. And part 1 cuts in through somewhere like here. Not exactly sure, but something like that. I'm going to stitch part number 1 first and then move into part number 2. Until I have that one finished, part number 3 will probably be released. So we'll see about that. The fabric I'm going to stitch this one on is a 28 count even weave I got with the whole kit. So here's the fabric, portrait orientation. Because I don't want to start while traveling, I'm probably going to start it sometime this week after I have finished my full coverage stitching goal. Continue stitching on this one just so I have a start. And then I can take it with me for travel stitching. It's just easier to know where you can start stitching because you already know your starting point on the fabric. And I don't like doing a start somewhere else. I first of all have to iron the piece and then roll it, and then I can start stitching. So that's travel stitching. Yeah, that's travel stitching. As I said, today is Dragon Dancer. Tomorrow, and yeah, I have started something wrong here. Tomorrow and probably also on Wednesday, I'm going to stitch on Mini Magic Mirror by Having Enough Designs. Artwork is by Anne Stokes, because I still have to work those days, and then I need a kind of faster project. So I show you where Mini Magic Mirror is at presently. That's where I'm at. This is page number 4 finished, and I probably will move into page number 3, pick a color and complete the thread, and then pick the next color. So it's kind of confetti heavy because page number 3 is up here in that mirror. So it might take some time, but I think it should be kind of fast so that I can stitch on it even though I work both days and still get my stitch count goal of 630 stitches in every day. I think so. And on this one, also I only need around 1,700 stitches till my year-end goal will be reached. So that will be really nice as well. It's a 28 count even weave. I'm stitching 2 over 1/10 stitch, and the needleminder is from Denkai Designs. Yeah, that's that one. I think last time I stitched on this one, I finished the page, and when I took a photo to show you like the last time I stitched on it photo, my cell phone actually recognized the skull as a face, which was pretty cool. Yeah, that's Mini Magic Mirror. As I said, probably Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday is a non-full coverage stitching day, so I'm going to continue with Temperature Garden. And depending on how many stitches are left for my year-end goal, maybe on Mini Magic Mirror. On Thursday, I also have a night shift. Night shift means I'm stitching on a night shift project. I'm probably going to take Royal Games number 1. So the one I already showed you before, this one. And also, because I like to take more projects, depending on what I feel like stitching on, you never know, also taking Twisted Band, Sunflower, Northern Expressions, Needleworks. So those 2 are probably the pieces I take with me for night shift. And then on Friday and Saturday, I have my weekend, so stitching on Supersize, Cliffhanger, Max Color. That's the one I wanted to stitch on last week and did not get to it because I had so much fun stitching on 4 seasons. So this one is probably going to be the one I'm stitching on Friday, Saturday. As I said, Supersize, Max Color, Cliffhanger, artwork is by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven of Designs. And this is where I'm at with that one. I really hope I finish this page over here kind of soon. There's not a whole lot missing in the upper part of the page. The lower part is mostly done, but there are quite some white stitches in there, so you probably won't see it that good. It's stitched on 40 count, 1/110 stitch. Needleminder is from Dankai Designs. This one, I choose my pages randomly. So I have a wheel in the Tiny Decisions app, and all those pages I can reach directly next to another or diagonally next to one of those pages I have already stitched. All those pages are in the wheel, and then I will just hit the wheel and the app will tell me which page I'm going to stitch on next. So I'm excited for that and hoping for one of those upper 2 pages because there's a lot of black in them and that's fast. With this one, till the end of the year, I still need around 11,000 stitches. That's quite a lot. So yeah, we'll see about that. On Sunday, I start work again, but I'm not sure yet what I'm going to stitch on then. We're going to see about that. As I said, I have not yet made plans for that. I have plans for starting tomorrow till the rest of the month. Because it's Dark October stitching, tomorrow is the 13th of October, so Friday 13th and stuff, I decided to start on the 13th. And for that, I have to stop for the video for a moment and be right back. So I already showed you my only real Halloween project I have, Sleepy Hollow. I have finished my year-end goal on that one, so I'm not going to stitch on that one this year again. But I decided to go with Raven Queen by Mirabilia. It's not Halloween, but it's kind of gothic-like, and I think that works as well. This one, I started last year in October, stitched on it for 1 day, and that was the time I did some challenges, the Enchanted Stitching Challenges, another Facebook group. All those Facebook groups I mentioned I will link below. So for those challenges, for the highest level, you had to do 250 stitches. So I think on her, I started her, did my 250 stitches, finished the thread, so probably below 300 stitches, packed it away and did not yet stitch on it again. So this one has 1 day of work in it and not even a whole day, probably 1 hour, 1.5 hours, something like that. Maybe 2 with starting, but not more. She needs some attention. Definitely. So I think I stitched, I'll show you in a minute. I think I stitched that part over here, that black part on the side of the dress. My year-end goal will be to reach the top. So I'm probably going over here and then moving into the raven and into the tower and then moving up to the top. And that will be my year-end goal. Not a lot. So therefore, I want to stitch on her every day from the 13th, so from tomorrow on, till the 31st, Halloween, every day 30 minutes. If I reach my goal before Halloween, that's fine. But I want to reach it at Halloween latest. So if I realize I need some more time on her, because I probably won't finish my goal, then I might stitch on her some more on some not for coverage days, something like that. But it would be really, really nice to finish my goal on her, especially because I did not stitch on her anything this year and close to nothing last year. So yeah, I want to get some more progress into her because she's actually the first Mirabilia chart I ever bought because I think she's beautiful. I really, really love this chart. And I want to get her done because I really love her. But to get her done, I have to stitch on her. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, this is where she's at. It's super, super sad. And as I said, it's the part of her dress. It's stitched on a 32 count gray linen. I don't know the exact color. I think it's a pale gray or pearl gray, something like that, by Zweigart, but I'm not sure. Or Belfast linen, yeah, Belfast linen by Zweigart, I think in pearl gray, but I'm definitely not sure. The needleminder is from Denker Designs, and I want to get some more done on her, and I can't wait to start my day tomorrow with stitching something on her. Probably not going to start my day with her because I have to have an early shift. Nevertheless, I really, really would like to get more progress on her. So, yeah, can't wait. Can't wait to stitch on her. Yeah, as I said, 30 hours, 30 minutes every day. We'll see how far I can get. She's beautiful. She is. I need to stitch on her. Yeah, we'll see about that. That's the plan. Yeah, I think I showed you everything I stitched on. I think I showed you close to everything I'm going to stitch on during next week. As I said, some parts I'm not yet sure on what to stitch on, so we will find out. Well, I find out a bit sooner than you are, but nevertheless, you will find out next Monday when I'm back with my next video. Yeah, that's it. I think I told you everything. So I hope you have a wonderful time. You enjoy your time wherever you are, in whatever condition you are, and whatever happens in your country. Keep to stitching. It helps. At least it helps me to keep sane and keep myself relaxed. So yeah, I hope you have a wonderful stitchy time. I will go edit this video so I get some stitchy time, and I will see you next Monday. Bye. Oh, one thing. Yeah, maybe some of you are already gone. But I have been asked how I stitch. Over the last few videos, I have been asked that a few times. I always answered in the comments, but I thought I address it in a video as well. I'm searching for a project I can show you. Show it to you easily. Let's say Graven Queen. All my projects are in those rolls. When I pack them away, they are in these rolls. Inside is the front of the stitching. So when I start stitching on a project, I stitch in hand. So for me, starting to stitch on a project, I just unroll my roll. Sounds good. And then I have my left hand holding the roll down here with my thumb, and the rest of the hand is behind the fabric. With my right hand, I hold my needle and I stitch. So normally I have like 3 fingers on the roll down here, and this one is a bit more, bit farther to the top of the fabric. So I have a nice stitchy spot in between my fingers. I don't know if you can see it through the fabric and where my fingers are. Yeah. So I have a nice stitch spot in here between my fingers where I can have the needle. So I can help guide my needle with the finger on the top, and the other 4 fingers hold the fabric. And then I stitch in between here. And that's how I stitch. So I don't need a hoop or a Q-snip or something like that. I just have my hands. And so far, I only have one project I can stitch like that, and that's a tablecloth that has an Aida band in between. So around the middle, it has an Aida band. That one I can't stitch that way because it's too soft, and the fabric would crumble up behind my fingers, and that would not work. So that one I stitched with a hoop. All my other projects, I stitch in hand like that. Okay, I hope that explains it. And now I think I have everything. Yeah, as I said, I hope you have a wonderful time. I hope you have a wonderful stitchy time, and I will see you next Monday.